At 67, that big family house can quietly become one of your most expensive retirement decisions. Too much space, too much maintenance, too much money trapped in rooms you barely use, so you sell. But now comes the dangerous part. Do you buy another home? Or rent and keep hundreds of thousands of dollars working for you? Choose wrong, and the difference can reach 6 figures. And one number can tell you whether buying even deserves to be considered. Meet Bill and Gary. Both are 67, both just retired. Both own 4-bedroom homes worth roughly $650,000, and both have reached the same conclusion. The house that made perfect sense at 45 makes very little sense now. Their children are gone. 2 bedrooms are barely used. The second floor is becoming annoying. The yard still expects the enthusiasm of a 35-year-old. So both sell. After selling costs and everything connected to the move, imagine each walks away with roughly $600,000. But one warning before we spend that money. The sale price and the amount you actually keep are not always the same thing. Bill may think he walked away with $600,000. The IRS may disagree. Qualifying homeowners may exclude up to $250,000 of gain, or up to $500,000 for many married couples filing jointly. But if the gain is larger, the downsizing budget can shrink fast. Imagine buying the new home, then discovering that part of the money you already counted on was never really yours to spend. That is why the sale price is not the number that matters. What matters is what actually survives the sale. Before deciding what you can afford next, find out how much of the old house is really coming with you. This is where their retirement split. Bill takes $350,000 and buys a smaller home outright. Gary rents a comfortable 2-bedroom place for about $2,100 a month, and he keeps that $350,000 invested. At first, Bill looks like the smart one. He owns his home. Gary has a landlord. Bill has no mortgage. Gary has rent due every month. Easy decision? Not even close, because Bill eliminated rent. But he also buried $350,000 back into another property. And that is where the real math begins. Bill loves saying one sentence, "My housing payment is 0. No, darling, your mortgage payment is 0. Your house is still sending invoices, property taxes, insurance, cooling, heating, possibly HOA fees, and eventually a roof, air conditioner, or water heater will decide it deserves some of your retirement money." Fannie Mae says homeowners should expect thousands every year just to keep a house standing. For Bill, even a quiet year can mean roughly $3,500 in maintenance. Add property taxes and insurance, and his free house is suddenly costing about $750 every month. Before the roof leaks, before the air conditioner dies, before one ugly repair bill turns $750 into several $1,000s overnight. Gary pays $2,100 in rent. So yes, Gary spends more every month. But Bill is not saving $2,100. He may be saving closer to $1,300. And that $1,300 difference came with a very expensive price. $350,000 tied up in the house. Bill sees a $350,000 house. Gary sees something else. $350,000 that can no longer pay him. And once you calculate what that money could be doing instead, the advantage of owning suddenly gets much smaller. Gary keeps the $350,000 invested. At a hypothetical 5% return, that money could generate about $18,000 a year. Now here is the surprise. Bill saves roughly $16,000 a year by owning instead of renting. Gary's invested cash could earn roughly $18,000, so Bill locks up $350,000 to save less than that same money could potentially produce. That is the hidden cost of a paid-off house. No monthly bill, but a very expensive price. Here is the number that changes the decision: time. Zillow's 2026 analysis puts the typical buy versus rent break-even at roughly 6 years. Stay well beyond that, and buying has more time to overcome transaction costs, leave earlier, and selling costs, moving expenses, and another purchase can erase much of the advantage. And after 65, 6 years can be a long commitment. Gary may want to move closer to his son in North Carolina, or his daughter in Arizona, or better health care somewhere else. Bill already knows where he wants to stay. Gary does not. So before buying again, ask one question. Am I reasonably sure I want to be here 6 years from now? If the answer is no, the flexibility of renting may be worth paying for. Downsizing can still go badly wrong. You can sell a 4-bedroom house, buy something smaller, and solve almost none of the problems that matter. After 65, the better question is not, how much house do I need today? It is, what will this house demand from me at 77? Bill gets this right. No stairs between him and the bedroom, no oversized yard. No pool demanding money whether he uses it or not. And doctors, groceries, and everyday errands are nearby. Saving $100,000 on a house farther away can look smart today. Until you spend the next decade driving everywhere. The best downsizing move is not necessarily the smallest house. It is the house your older self can still use easily. Bill solved many future housing problems. Gary kept something Bill gave up: access to $350,000. Bill may have the same amount of wealth sitting inside his home, but Gary can use his without selling the place where he lives. If he wants to travel for 6 months, help family, or move next year, the money is available. Bill may first have to sell, borrow against the house, or leave the equity untouched. That is why 2 retirees with the same net worth can feel completely different financially. One has wealth on paper, the other has money he can actually reach. Right now, Gary looks wonderfully flexible. His money is liquid, his address is temporary, his options are open. But that freedom is rented too. And unlike Bill's purchase price, the cost does not have to stay where it started. Every lease renewal gives someone else the chance to decide how much of Gary's retirement they want next year. That is where renting begins to fight back. Gary starts at $2,100 a month. With modest rent increases, that can become roughly $3,000 within 15 years. That extra $900 does not just leave his bank account. It starts replacing parts of his life. The long trip becomes a shorter one. The expensive hobby gets postponed. Maybe he visits family less often because flights suddenly feel harder to justify. And the cruel part? Same apartment. No extra bedroom. No better kitchen, just a much bigger bill. That is the hidden danger of renting in retirement. The rent can keep growing, while the life around it slowly gets smaller. But Bill's advantage depends on one big assumption. He can pay cash. If he cannot, the math turns fast. Finance $200,000 at roughly 6.5%, and the mortgage alone is about $1,300 a month. Add taxes, insurance, and repairs, and Bill is suddenly paying almost rent-level housing costs. Except now he also owns every repair, every tax increase, every unexpected bill. That is the trap. He did not eliminate the monthly pressure. He simply changed who sends the invoices. And in retirement, that matters. Because once $2,000 of every month is already spoken for, the rest of your life has to fit into what is left. Suddenly, every fixed bill matters more. The margin for saying yes gets smaller. And one expensive month can force decisions you never planned to make. After 65, the goal is not to prove you can still afford a mortgage. It is to make sure housing does not control what the rest of your retirement can afford. After all the math, one thing is still missing. The winner was not decided by rent, not by the purchase price, not even by the investment return. It came down to something far more personal. And once you see it, the entire buy versus rent question looks different. So who made the better choice? Bill bought. Gary rented. And surprisingly, neither one won because of housing prices. Bill bought because he had already found the place he wanted to grow old in. Gary rented because he was not ready to let an address decide the next 10 years of his life. That is the real advantage after 65. Not owning a home, not renting one. Keeping your housing choice from quietly taking control of everything else. Because the wrong home does not just cost money. It can decide whether you travel, whether you help your family, whether you can change your plans when life changes. The most expensive retirement home is not always the one with the biggest price tag. It is the one that slowly turns your freedom into another monthly obligation.